Mustang fans, are you ready?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Four for the first down, won't need it. It's going to be another Mustang touchdown.
The following is a West Jones High School presentation of the Mustang Network.
He's going the other way. It's a live football. It's going to be a touchdown for the Mustangs.
They answered a call. They brought the juice the whole season. We got great kids that's going to work hard and make our community proud.
And that is a 62-yard touchdown for the West Jones Mustangs.
The West Jones Mustangs finish off a 14-0 season and are state champions once again.
And happy Thursday, Mustang fans. The voice of the Mustangs, Rich Gray, live here with you tonight, joined in studio by head football coach Corey Reynolds. You're watching the West Jones Mustang Football Coaches Show, sponsored by Wayne Sanderson Farms and Hills In-House Jewelers. Coach, we're glad to have you in studio tonight as we reflect back on this last week where we hosted, we talked about last week it being a monumental challenge, hosting the Terry Bulldogs. Coming in, Coach Chris Thigpen, those guys have been playing some excellent football. They were 6-0 coming in, but they left 6-1 after they came to Mustang Stadium. Just kind of reflect last week, Coach, on the environment that we walked into, that those Bulldogs walked into here at Mustang Stadium, and what it meant, man, for the Mustang faithful to bring the juice last week.
Typical Friday night and so-so. It was awesome. Cowbells out. We had the lights going. Everybody was getting after it. Kids fed off of it, fed off the band, fed off the cheerleaders. It was an awesome night. Very proud of how our kids have responded, since what happened a couple weeks ago, right up Highway 11 and or right down Highway 11. And excited about how we got up and got ready for a challenge to play a very, very good undefeated Terry football team. It was tough. From the get-go, they got a really good running back. They have a fast defense. They're physical. Their big number 99 on defense gave us fits all night. Just so proud of how our kids got up, responded. Like I said, they fed well off the crowd. Like you said, it's always – I love the question you ask to guys that come in here, what's it like when you walk out and you see and hear all that stuff? And, boy, I enjoy that every time I get that opportunity. When you come out and you see them run out with that smoke. High school football today is a whole lot different than it was in the 90s when I played, and it's such a great environment. I get chill bumps even right now thinking about it, that these kids get this opportunity from this community that loves and cares for about all of them.
That's right. There's nothing like, again, a Friday night at West Jones High School in the fall, an environment that is second to none. I'd put our environment up against pretty much anybody in the state. Coach, just looking at stats from this past weekend. Again, you had that combination that's not failed us yet this year with Tootie Lindsey, Chandler Watson. Braden Powell had a nice touchdown grab. No rushing touchdowns on the night, I believe. It was all 4 through the air. We discussed, earlier, just it's a far cry from last year where we were a rush-dominant team. But offensively, from an offensive standpoint, what are some of the things that you're seeing, through Tootie going through his progressions and Tootie really growing as a quarterback this year?
Well, it goes back to what we talked about a couple weeks ago, balance. Balance is not the same amount of rushing yards and passing yards or rushing attempts and passing attempts. I think balance is when you want to throw the ball, you can throw it, and when you want to run the ball, you can run it. And no rushing touchdowns, but Caleb had 16 rushing attempts for almost $140, I think $136. Tootie had 11 completions for 200 yards. Chandler didn't crack 100, but he had 4 receptions for 3 touchdowns. So we're doing things and taking care of business when we want to, and it all goes back to the work we put in the summer, time in the fall. We you talk about Chandler. Boy, we missed him last year. We hated that, and we're glad to have him back. I know he's glad to be back. Love seeing that smile when he shows up to school and practice every day. He wants to be here. He wants to work hard. Our guys, the whole team wants to be here and wants to work hard, and it's been paying off. You see it. Last year we were run dominant where we would rush for 6 or 7 touchdowns a game, and like this past week in a tough one, we took what the defense gave us and we had 4 through the air. Probably could have had some on the ground, but with them being as good as they are and his team speed, that we tried to take their out of it at times and keep the clock running, help our defense out, and help our special teams out and play real good football that's helps the offense, defense, and the kicking game out.
That's right. And again, we were discussing earlier that ankle injury to Tootie earlier in the year really probably helped him become a better passer this year because he had to rely on his arm instead of just being able to tuck the ball and run. But just describe how you've seen him grow as a quarterback. As really being that leader on the offensive side of the ball, and how he kind of took charge of things Friday night and found that familiar target in Chandler. Well,
with him, it goes back to anything that you're doing if you have consistency. This is, I'm his coach for the 3rd year in a row. We're having the 3rd year of the same offense. He's hearing the same thing for 3 years. You go look in quarterbacks in college and even on Sundays, those guys either have 3 head coaches in 3 years or 3 offensive coordinators in 3 years, or all that stuff moves, and the consistency of it hurts or helps. And in this case, our offensive line, we haven't had that many injuries this year, so we've had the same guys up front, and you build that momentum, you build that chemistry, where everybody's going to be. Bill as a sophomore is where CJ is right now as a sophomore. Will CJ get to be like Bill? I hope so. Might make hair grow back on my head. But if not, he's going to grow every year. And with Tootie, he's comfortable with those guys. He's becoming more vocal. Back in the old days, we always got in a huddle. So you could have that moment to talk, to fuss, to congratulate. Well, now we're all no huddle, spread. It is what it is. And so you don't have that moment to talk. But Tootie is taking more of a leadership role. I kind of slow practice down a little bit to let him talk to a receiver about running a route, or him and Caleb talking about the mesh point on power or counter, or him just talking about anything and everything, letting him take control. And that's what your question is, how's that growth? He's taking ownership. He's not a freshman anymore that we had a great defense, great kicking game, great running game, and he didn't have to go make plays. He did, but he didn't have to. Last year we had the setback, and I thought he did a good job of working while he was waiting, being patient, not get frustrated, because when you're a dude, you want to be the dude. And when you're hurt and injured, sometimes you want to do more until you're well, and that was hard getting him to calm down, wanting to go and be something that he is and not injuring himself more. But then it's every day. He's stacking a good day on a good day on a good day, making sure he's doing what he's supposed to do, taking care of the little things. Kind of funny things we talk about, the boring plays. We got to be excellent at the boring plays and not get bored with them, because that's our foundation. That's what we're going to get good on. And then him and Chandler, their connection, with Jay-Z and Caleb coming on, Parker's coming up. He's helped us from tight end to an H to a slot. Then you got EJ, that's a freshman that's coming on along and going to be good, just going to work. He's just a puppy. And so he's taking the leadership with that to make sure those guys do what they're supposed to do. And that's what's fun. And even with the injury, it's taken away a huge part of his game, being able to run and make plays with his legs. And like you said, now he's having to sit in the pocket. Now he's having to be patient and really trust his reads, really trust the work they've put in practice with the timing to make things happen. And, boy, it's been fun to watch.
Yeah, it has been. And on the defensive side of the ball, another great game for your defense. I know we gave up 19 points, but one of those touchdowns was right before half, off of a penalty, I believe, deep in territory. We stop them. We explain one question Mustang Nation has had, and I've been asked a bunch. How do you get a 23-yard illegal participation penalty. What kind of go through that and what that call was? There's been a lot of questions around town about that.
I'm still kind of waiting too. With the rule is you got 12 men on the field and it's a 15-yard penalty, and it doesn't go from the end of the play; it goes back from the line of scrimmage. And so, even though it looked like a 23-yard play, you go back from the line of scrimmage and go back. They got the call right, even though I wasn't happy with it. I wasn't happy with us that caused it, but they got it right, and we got to be better at that part of it. I know we're talking about the defense. We're getting better and better each and every week, and even from the get-go, it's been different because we've had injuries and young kids and inexperienced players, but we've gotten lined up correctly, and we're there to make the play. We just didn't. Mm-hmm. And I know it drives Coach Hicks crazy. It drives me crazy just about not finishing plays on either side of the ball. And he's done a really good job. And those guys have done a really good job of making that important to wrap up, to finish plays, and we're doing that. Now we're in that groove, and we're kind of in the little area of, our players. We've had such good players on that side of the ball for so many years, and when you finally have a class that, you don't have starters and backups. That's what we've always had, starters and backups, and right now we don't. We got good kids working their tails off doing what they're supposed to do, but now they're settling in, kind of like with Tootie settling in, being a great quarterback. They're settling in making plays, taking on the blocks, being where you're supposed to be, getting them jokers on the ground. And that was a tough week to finally – I'm glad it clicked last week because Rondé, the running back, was a really, really good kid. He's been banged up first of the year. He was kind of getting his groove on. He was getting in rhythm with his offensive line, Zero. I can't remember his name. Those are two really good skill guys that gave us fits all night, and we got him on the ground enough times.
Yeah, Duplessis.
Yes.
He was a great – you look at Rondé Baker – he's given us fits for the last 3 years.
Yes, I'm glad he's graduating.
Right, and that's like we were discussing in the press box Friday night. It's like tackling a freight train. The kid has got low center of gravity, and he'll just flat run over you.
He's got power and speed. He's
right.
got good balance. He's got a little wiggle. He's kind of a complete running back. He's got good hands to catch. He's just not a in-between the tackle guy or a little scat back. He's everything,
right.
And he's going to make somebody a really good football player next year, and I'm glad we don't get to play against him anymore.
Yeah, and their whole offense is just about built around what he can do. And he was hard to take down. He was averaging there in the first half, I believe. We were on first down, I think 6 yards a carry on first down, and we kind of started.
And we were there.
We just couldn't tackle him.
We just couldn't get him on the ground. He is a very, very good running back.
Yeah, very, very good. Now, one last thing before we go to break, but special teams. You look at they score a touchdown right there in the second quarter, I believe, to get it 14.
Should have been to 7.
Yeah, 14-7. Harrison breaks through the line on the extra point, blocks the kick, is 14-6 at that point. Later on, they step up, I believe, stop a 2-point later in the game, and just your special teams from Cruz. Being nearly perfect on the year on PATs, and Brian with kickoffs. I know it's not through the end zone like everybody expects but that's kind of strategic, right? Kicking those sky kicks and giving your coverage unit time to get down the field and really win the field position game.
Mm-hmm. And I know it aggravates a lot of folks. I've done it at different places I've been. Sometimes Coach Hicks, we agree to disagree on certain things, but this one we do. Sometimes, like with punting, everybody wants the big high punt. Leo gets frustrated with me because he wants to kick it as far as he can to get a good average. And as a punter in high school and college, I wanted that too. But we need him to kick it between the numbers and the sideline to pick up the sideline as another defender. We need to shorten the field, get those guys hemmed up. And sometimes that's aggravating to do, but he's done a good job of trying to do that to help the team. Same thing with Brian. Yeah, you want to try to kick it in the end zone. But we're trying to get it between the numbers and the sideline to have a shorter field, to have less chance of a big return. And everybody wants it deep, and a lot of folks don't understand that, and that's fine. But we know that gives us the best chance to win because it goes back to we're kind of in the stage we got some really good players, and we got some really good young players that are not ready yet to be in that environment against some really good football players, that we don't want to put them in a bad bind to get them gun shy or feel like, they're not doing good. But we also got to do what's best for the team. And sometimes I would rather give it to them on the 35 or give it to them on the 30 than have them a chance to get a 40-yard return.
Right.
And that's just because we got so many guys going both ways now and playing old school football, and it is what it is, and that's what we got to do to win. And so we feel that's what's best, and our kids believe in that, and that's how we're going to go with it right now. Now, things change a little bit later on in the year. We can do some things differently as kids develop and we get some back from injury. But right now, that's kind of our philosophy on that part of it to help us be a championship team.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Coach, for explaining what goes into those calls on special teams and how our offense and defense performed this past week. We're going to step out and pay some bills here. We're going to go to a commercial break, but you're watching the West Jones Mustang Football Coaches Show, sponsored by Wayne Sanderson Farms and Hills In-House Jewelers. When we return, we'll have a very special guest in the studio tonight as we talk with Mustang wide receiver Chandler Watson.
At West Jones High School, we don't just prepare students for the future, we help them build it. Our technical program opens doors, where skills meet purpose and dreams take shape. In the arts, creativity finds voice, and passion finds its stage. And on the field, our Mustangs run with heart, pride, and unstoppable spirit. This is West Jones High School. Nothing runs like a Mustang.
From the heart of Laurel, Mississippi comes Wayne Sanderson Farms, proudly serving families across the globe. Formed from two leading poultry companies with humble roots in farm supply and feed manufacturing, Wayne Sanderson Farms is built on over a century's worth of industry expertise. This trusted name has grown into the third largest poultry producer in America, committed to excellence, affordability, and quality you can taste. With local roots and a global reach, Wayne Sanderson Farms is the official chicken of the SEC, bringing good, honest chicken to every table. Choose the farm that feeds with integrity. Choose Wayne Sanderson Farms.
Looking for the perfect ring or a trusted jeweler? Hill's In-House Jewelers has you covered. Owned by Laurel natives Jeff and Courtney Hill, they've been serving the community since 2010. From engagement rings to fine jewelry, custom designs to expert repairs, every piece is crafted and cared for on-site, never mailed out. Discover the largest selection of bridal jewelry in Laurel, right here at 1104 Sawmill Road. Hill's In-House Jewelers, all the sparkle, all in-house.
Soccer has become very popular here at West Jones, but there seems to be a rise in workplace injuries.
It's all right. He's doing good. He's doing good.
Oh! Oh, my ankle! Oh!
Dad, stop.
Oh, my ankle! Oh, I won't be able to work for weeks. Oh!
He's fine.
Oh!
And welcome back to the West Jones Mustang Football Coaches Show, sponsored by Wayne Sanderson Farms and Hills In-House Jewelers. We're very blessed right now to be joined in studio tonight by none other than, I'm not real sure where the nickname came from, but the Tooth Fairy himself, big number 17, Chandler Watson, who currently is leading the state in receiving yards at over 1,070 yards and 16 touchdowns on the year. Chandler, we're glad to have you in the studio and glad we could get you in here tonight. Hey, we talk weekly about different things, with different players, and just kind of take us through. I ask this question every week. The one thing that remains the same is this question is, what does it look like for you on a Friday night? Okay, when you come out of that locker room for pregame and you look up in the stands and you see nothing but green and gold, just a sea of green and gold, a community that's out man, you know it's fixing to get turned up behind you, and you know we're fixing to bring the juice. And what does that mean to you as a ball player, and what does that do for you during a ball game?
It feels good as a player to go out there and see the stands like that, and it just gets us ready to play for 7 o'clock.
Right. And you know, there's something about being in an environment where everybody, man, a whole community turns out, from, you know, folks from Hebron, folks from Sharon, and everywhere in between, you know, turn out for a football game, and they've got kids on the field, and really just making it an exciting environment. Now, talking a little bit about, you know, this year, what do you attribute, as we were talking earlier, you were on that 23 team, all right, as a freshman. Now, you know, in this 25 team, coming in as a junior, for really your first year as a full-time starter, kind of let us in on a little bit of what do you attribute your success to this year? And I know you're, you know, over 6 foot tall, you're a big kid, and you're fast. But what do you attribute your success to?
We work hard every day in practice. We work on being 1-0 every week, and that's all we want to do.
And you have a great connection with your quarterback. You and Tootie, you know, have not only friendship on the field, friendship off the field, but what's it like having him as your quarterback, knowing that you trust him to make the throws that he needs to make in order for you to be put in a position to be successful like you currently are?
It feels good. I mean, we just have a chemistry because we work on it so much. It's just a lot of reps built up.
Okay. Awesome. Well, this Friday night, you play the Forest Hill Patriots here. Opportunity again to go 1-0, to try to take your team to a 3-0 record in Division III 6A and really cementing yourself in the top 2 in the playoff push. You know, what do you look forward to this Friday night as far as stepping on the field with Forest Hill? You know, what's something that you're looking forward to doing this week that you haven't done all year?
Really, we just want to go get better ourselves. Well, we just being 1-0 is the main goal. We just want to get better as a football team for the main part.
Awesome. Well, Chandler, you've had a great year so far. Now, let's talk about when you have to swap over to the defensive side of the ball. I know it's not ideal for players to go both ways in today's football climate, but with your size and your speed and your ability, sometimes you switch over and play a little bit in the defensive backfield. How do you make that adjustment, you know, from being a wide receiver to flipping over and having to play corner or safety when it's needed?
I work on it at practice, but I just take the coaching and just do what my coaches tell me, the best that I can do it.
That's awesome. You know, it's good when kids buy in to what coaches are teaching and they do what they're asking, what's needed for the team to be successful. Well, Chandler, thank you for joining us in studio tonight. Good luck tomorrow night against Forest Hill. We hope that you have a great rest of your junior year, and we look forward to big things for you over the next 2 years here in Mustang Nation. We're going to step out, take another commercial break, but we'll be back in just a moment on the West Jones Mustang Football Coaches Show, sponsored by Wayne Sanderson Farms and Hills In-House Jewelers. And when we come back, we'll have a very special phone interview from none other than Isaiah Lunchmeat Lindsey, West Jones' great defensive end and current Jones College Bobcat, as we check in on him and see where he is headed next. We'll be back in just a few minutes on the West Jones Mustang Network.
Frank, this stadium control room is so awesome.
Want to see something really cool?
Yes, I do. Whoa, it's beautiful. Look, goosebumps.
I didn't think that was possible for a chicken.
Why not?
Because you're not a goose?
Are you a goose, Frank?
No.
Can you get goosebumps?
Yes.
And that makes sense. How?
I see your point.
Yeah. Sanderson Farms, official chicken of the SEC.
I love the kids. I have several siblings of students that I've taught throughout the years, and so it's great to see full circle how some of these kids have come from their siblings. I love being from West Jones because a lot of my kids, former and current, I get to see out in the community. They work at the restaurants, the businesses. A lot of them come to the sporting events that my own children play in. And so it's a sense of community, whether you're at the school or outside the school, because we see each other and we support each other. And my kids know that I love them and I love seeing them succeed inside of school and outside of school.
Looking for the perfect ring or a trusted jeweler? Hill's In-House Jewelers has you covered. Owned by Laurel natives Jeff and Courtney Hill, they've been serving the community since 2010. From engagement rings to fine jewelry, custom designs to expert repairs, every piece is crafted and cared for on-site, never mailed out. Discover the largest selection of bridal jewelry in Laurel, right here at 1104 Sawmill Road. Hill's In-House Jewelers, all the sparkle, all in-house.
Recently, we've been an athletes here working the office at West Jones. It hasn't been going so well.
Hey, Teddy, you
Yes,
have
ma'am.
those copies ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey.
I hate when you did that.
Just let him cook.
And welcome back to the West Jones Football Coaches Show, sponsored by Wayne Sanderson Farms and Hills In-House Jewelers. Special thank you to Chandler Watson for joining us in studio tonight. And right now we have a very special phone guest on the Wayne Sanderson Farms hotline right here in studio. We have none other than the infamous Isaiah Lunchmeat Lindsey. Isaiah, man, we're glad to have you on the show today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, Isaiah was on the 2020 and 2023 state championship teams here at West Jones. Wore that infamous number 9, and if you missed it there from Vaught Hemingway Stadium, his pads when he pulled them up after an interception late in the game had the word dog across the bottom, and that's exactly what Isaiah is. Isaiah, man, kind of fill us in on how things are going down there at Jones College, and maybe if you have some stats you want to share with us. How's college life, and how are you adjusting to college football?
Oh, man, it's going great. I love it down here. It's basically like West Jones, a loving family. Everyone knows each other, and we all get along like brothers and sisters down here. I love it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And kind of walk us through some of, the recruiting things that you're going through right now. Of course, you're a sophomore at Jones. You're getting ready to take it to the next level. But just kind of give us some of the recruiting rundown. You had a lot of schools contacting you, and kind of how things are looking right now.
Yes, I had multiple schools come down and check me out. We still talking here and there, and my options are still open. And the recruiting is going great. And about my stats are pretty improving right now. I have 8 sacks for the season, along with 40 to 30 solo tackles.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's great to see guys showing out at the next level. Now, the question that I'm going to ask you, Isaiah, is I ask it to every time we do one of these phone interviews to guys that have moved on and played at the next level. But how did West Jones prepare you to play ball at the next level, and what does it mean for you to have been a West Jones Mustang?
I feel like playing at West Jones was like a step under to going to college, at least playing for a junior college or a junior college. 5A ball is right on playing with big boy ball. And I love it. I just fit right on in down here, man. It felt like nothing once I made it.
That's awesome. So, basically a easy transition to playing JUCO ball, and man, it's crazy to look out across the state right now with a lot of our junior colleges and smaller colleges and seeing guys that dominated on the field in that 2023 year, just showing out, yourself, and you've got Jamarian at Northwest and Race at Northwest, and a lot of those guys that were big contributors. JJ at Gulf Coast. Now you got Elijah at Gulf Coast and Omar at Gulf Coast. These guys starting to get some recognition in the recruiting ranks, man. And it's always awesome for us here to look back and see you guys making an impact wherever you're at. Well, thank you for joining us today, Isaiah, man. We're so proud of you here at West Jones, man, and we're rooting for you. And wherever you land, just know that we'll be fans of that team for the next 2 years as you're playing ball and making a difference on the football field. Thank you for joining us here on the Mustang Network in tonight's Coaches Show, and good luck. Good luck this week.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Coach. Y'all have a blessed one.
Again, thank you, Lunchmeat, for joining us today, and we'll wishing you the best of luck for the rest of your sophomore season at Jones College, and best of luck in the future as you move on to hopefully play Division I football somewhere. We're joined back in studio tonight with head football coach Corey Reynolds as we wrap up tonight's show. Coach, we play Forest Hill tomorrow night here at Mustang Stadium. And it's senior night, one of our last couple of home games guaranteed on the year. But, Coach, what are we looking at as far as Forest Hill's team? I know Coach Fell, they're always athletic. They're always talented. But what are we looking at as Forest Hill comes in tomorrow night?
Big thing, we want to be 1-0. Can't look at records, can't look at past games, past success. We've done the right things at the right time and handled ourselves with class and worked hard and take care of the little things against some really, really good opponents, and this one's no different. Anytime the ball's kicked off, anything can happen, so we got to make sure we're not overlooking anybody. We're not preparing for anything else, that we're getting ready for this week to be 1-0. Very athletic. Coach Fell's been there for a while as an assistant. Now he's a head coach. They are a whole lot better this year. They've given people fits. Gave Terry fits the week before we played Terry. Terry only beat them 24-6, and there were some plays on the field that could have went differently. Excited about the challenge. I hope our kids get up. Kind of had some distractions this week. You got the fair going on. Didn't have any so far. Just a lot of other things around. I'm very proud of how our kids have focused. We've had 3 really good days of practice. Had a good walkthrough. Very excited about the mental preparation, the look in their eyes, the way they're getting out to practice, not just going through the motions, not having a big letdown after a couple big wins. Very excited about what could possibly happen Friday night. With the success, the way we're kind of coming together on offense, defense, and the kicking game, we're looking like how we should be looking at this time of year.
Right, and like I said, we're in the home stretch of the season here. You got 3 games left, guaranteed. You got home with Forest Hill, then you go on the road. How hard is it to keep? Would you describe this week as kind of being a trap game, or have the possibility to be a trap game? You got looking forward to Hattiesburg. That's the big showdown that everybody has circled on their calendar for a division title. How do you keep your kids focused on the task at hand of, like I said, being 1-0 this week, taking care of business with Forest Hill, and competing for that division title next week?
It just goes back to when I first got here. We talk about that. The only thing we can control is today's practice. The only game we have control over is this week's game. That's the only one on the schedule this week. And, said that since day one, been reiterated all week. This is the most important game you'll play this year because it's the next one. It's the only one we're getting ready for. I've always told them stay off the social media stuff. Just don't listen to the outside noise. When we step inside the field house, step inside the white lines of practice, let's go to work. Let's be as good as we can be. Once you leave, that's where you really got to, you can't listen to everybody on the outside through either text, social media, or whatever. we can't control any of that, and I asked them just stay off of it, stay away from it, focus on what we can control, what we prepare for, and then things should work out.
That's right. And, well, Coach, best of luck to you tomorrow night as the Patriots Forest Hill come into town, and hopefully we leave 1-0 again this week, take it to 3-0 in division play, and before we get on to Hattiesburg and Jim Hill to close out the regular season. Coach, as always, glad to have you. Thank you for your insight. That'll be it for this week's show. Please be here, be loud tomorrow night as we celebrate our Mustang seniors, football players, band, cheer, golf. We'll have a big presentation before the ball game around 6:15, so make sure you're here for that as we say thank you to the senior class of 2026 for everything that they have done for West Jones Athletics. For head football coach Corey Reynolds, I'm the voice of the Mustangs, Rich Gray. We thank you for joining us tonight, and we look forward to many more episodes later this year. You've been listening to the West Jones Football Coaches Show, sponsored by Wayne Sanderson Farms and Hills In-House Jewelers. We'll see you here tomorrow night. And as always, remember, we are West Jones.